Hello everybody, welcome to my nook. This is Kimberly and today I am going to completely wing it. No real prototype made. That's exactly what I'm going to teach. This is my design team project for Chapter 1 papers, and I am really excited about showing it to you. They have a beautiful Christmas kit that's come out, and that is what inspired me to show you how to make this ephemera storage holder. I made it a long time ago when I wasn't a design team member for Chapter 1 papers. Sad. And I have used it for like 2 years. It's been so handy, and I've made others. So I thought, why not update it a little bit, and make one for Christmas papers. So that's the plan. We're going to make a beautiful ephemera holder and storage system, and one that's easy to use. You can have it on display, and I hope you'll join me. And because I am winging this and haven't made a prototype beyond the one I just described to you, which I'm going to show you in a minute, peek, I am going to do this in parts. So the part 1 today is going to show you kind of what we're going for, what I have in mind. I'm going to start to break down what's necessary in order to begin to build it up again. That'll make sense in a minute. And I'm also going to show you all the supplies. There's not that many, but variations on the supplies so that you can get yours together and craft with me going forward. All right, so I hope this is exciting to you and fun. Personally, I really like things I make to be useful. They don't always have to be, but pretty much if I spend time on something, it's because it's useful to me or useful to a recipient. And so this is, one of those things. So this beautiful kit from Chapter 1 Papers has quite a variety of things in it. 2 collage sheets, which, are like little mini masterboards if you ask me. And you could do a lot with these. You could cut out these individual labels. There's just so much. So those are ripe. And then they have sheets that were the full page that could be used this way. And then they had some that could be used this way for the tall journal. And I am pointing these out because I took other full sheet pages from this kit. Oh, it's called Christmas Wishes, I think. Anyway, it's their newest. And I made what was a full sheet into half and half, 5 by 7 each, because I am going to be tearing a lot of these apart to collage. We're going to be doing a lot of collaging, freeform collaging, to cover the ephemera folder. So think about which ones you might want to leave large scale. This might, be useful on, in its own way for other things. These are 2 that were full page, I think, and so I made these smaller. This beautiful page came this way, so they already were 2 5 by 7s. And this is another one that came this way. I can see ripping these poinsettias and having them be a higher level on the collage. Think of the collage sort of as how you would do a masterboard with layers, but it's not one that we're going to cut up, not at all. This was a page in and of itself, so beautiful. But this could be a beautiful edging. And I love this with the animals. They're so sweet. And this is the page for itself. And then I think this also was a full page, and I really wanted to use this side, and I love this mistletoe up here very much. And then for some background and to get some color, we have these 2 wonderful things. I also want to point out here that these are obviously the same pattern, obviously the same exact source. And yet this one I printed on the 32-pound white, 100% bright white paper. And this one I printed on the regular 20-pound copy paper. the company I don't think matters. They're all around 92 in terms of brightness. So you can see, I mean, what a difference, you know, the red is just so much brighter here. So sometimes you want this look, you know, you want the more, less bright. And other times you really want it to stand out. So that was a good example, I felt. And then there's also pages, more than I printed out, I think. Pages of, you know, individual ephemera. But these two can be layered on top of the collage in smaller pieces. There's even more large pages than I printed out. It's a big kit. So, so those are the choices that I've made, and of course I won't use all of them probably for the outside. But let me show you an example of the one that I made in the first place that led me to realize that this would be a great one to do with the Christmas kit, in part because it is so large. And so this is a hanging file folder. So that's the number one thing that you're going to need. Is a hanging file folder. You know, it's got the things. Now we're going to take these metal pieces out, so they don't have to be with it. If it's an old one and they're not there, or one's missing, you know, so much the better, because we're actually going to dismantle this, take it out. Even if it can pull out, we're going to dismantle this. And I covered this file folder with a map of Paris. It's a poster map, and I loved it, and I wanted to find some way to see it all the time. So this sits by my desk, my craft space here, because I love it so much, and what's on here changes depending on what I'm working on, or what I'm needing, or what I have. And this is a little bag that has stamps in it. So, not to confuse you, you don't have to get red. You can have any color you want. The outside is going to become the inside on my piece this time. And that is because the pink on the inside just isn't going to work. And you want to have the inside be a very flat thing. I don't want it to tear apart. So it's best if it's not layered. Another file folder can be laid inside and completely cover it, and then you just have to glue the two file folders together extremely well. I did that on another one. But I realized, yeah, I'm going to put the red on the inside because I really love it. I'm going to be completely collaging anyway, so it won't even show the pink. So think about that when you're looking for your file folder, and you know, don't worry about your color too much. I happen to have a red one. I was lucky. So this is an example of one where I did put another file folder on the inside. That does add more strength. But because we're going to be doing the collaging with gel medium or Mod Podge, whatever you have, that is going to give it lots of strength. It's going to be very, come on, little machine. Come on. Oh boy, it's having a heyday. Oh, I think the glare might be it. Okay. So I do not think that you have to worry about strength with the project we're going to be doing. But on this one, I did worry about the strength. So I did put another file folder on the inside. And I also sewed around the whole thing, which I probably will do on this one too. And you could hand sew. Okay, I'm going to lock it, but that changes things. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so you know, stitching around. Again, remember this was a map, it was loose. We're going to be collaging, so you know, it may or may not be necessary, but sometimes just the decorative look is what you're going for. And then as you can see on the inside, the ephemera storage holders are various bags that are all recycled from packaging that we have, you know, acquired by buying things. So it's ideal, and I'm going to show you examples of that. I'm going to do that now because I don't want to really get into the making until we talk about what you're going to need. Okay? So first, our bags or large window envelopes. Large window envelopes are perfectly usable. This one has an opening on the side. This would be glued onto the bottom, and things could slide in and out. So that is, and it's made of cardboard, or very, very heavy paper. So that's a pretty ideal storage system, and it could be decorated as well. So if you have any of those, perfect. Now what I used in this one was a normal plastic bag that I cut down, and it's about 7 inches across and about 8.5 tall. And in my current collection of stuff, I don't really have one that's that size. They're all a lot wider. So I was thinking that this, these file protectors could definitely be utilized, assuming that you could stitch or heavily glue and then put washi tape over it to make it the 7 by 8.5. So that it's top opening. I think side opening would be a little, too unsteady. I think things would fall out. With top opening, nothing ever falls out. So see what you've got that might work. But the width of 7 works really well between the lip here and then the middle here. And then CD envelope is another thing that I find comes in handy. I've got some tea-dye ones here. I decorated this one with stickers. And then I put tabs at the top so that you can pull it out without always touching the paper. So it gives it strength and steadiness. And I did it on each and every bag. And then glassine bags. Glassine bags, sometimes if you eat at outdoor restaurants, they put the silverware in these long bags like this. So I always save those. So that could be cut down. And then you could glue this in so you have 2 out of the 1 envelope, which would be a little easier to access the small item you put in there. And pharmacy bags, also, I've used these in smaller ephemera holders that I've made. And again, they can be cut down half and half, so it's a twofer. And they're gusseted, so that gives you, and I don't get rid of the gusset. I keep the gusset, and I just put more in it. So that's a great bag to get a hold of. I have larger glassine bags, and again, they have a lot of stability. And when you put the washi tape or glue some material of some sort across both sides, it's really not a problem. It lasts. I've never had one rip. And this is a tea-dye glassine bag, and I think this one is quite a bit more fragile. I'm not sure that I would use a tea-dyed bag. It just seems like it's gonna rip. But it's pretty. So I guess if you had things that were the same size and sticking out, that you were never going in the bag, you were always working with taking them out, it would probably work for you. And then we use double-sided tape to hold these bags down. It doesn't really show up that much. Let's see if I can. So I put it not to the very end. Well, we're into the make, but we're going to do this next week anyway, so you don't have to do it. But I don't put it to the end on either side intentionally on any of the bags because I want it to be able to curl up around whatever it is I put in. And I like taking everything out. I have the strip type, and then you kind of line them up, and then your eye kind of goes to what's on top, and that's what you use. But by changing over to this bag type, I found that it, kind of forced in a nice way me to take everything out of it, and then I would look through, and I'd both be reminded about what I have, and maybe something I wasn't even anticipating would come into view, and I would think, oh my gosh, that'd be so much better. So I enjoy it. I really think it just is a better way for me to go. I keep my stamps on the piece of paper. I don't cut everything apart. I don't do that with anything anymore. I don't cut labels apart. Too much cutting, and I don't always use all of them. And I can see them perfectly fine that way. Why do I have to have all these little pieces hanging out? So that's what these tall, skinny bags are really good for. And these tall, skinny bags are also good for the labels, the individual labels. And paper clips, you know. So I just have a vast array, sure you all do, of bags. This is an example of the washi. And I'll lay the washi right on top of where the glue stick part is. And then that becomes the top of the bag. Now, in this case, it looks like I cut it apart. So, that's probably why it's in here. So that would mean that I would glue this part down and use it from the top. This has the handle at the top and then the opening at the bottom. So I would glue it like, you know, the glue of the tape would be here. I would put a piece of washi across here, and then I've got that access. This is a tall, skinny one. This is another very sturdy. I mean, it's just such a great thing that we have all these bags. Now, if you don't have any of those bags, because you don't buy stuff like that, then you can get, you know, the Ziploc bags. You can buy them in different sizes, or maybe some food stuff you get comes in them. Just save those because they work the same exact way. They close and they are clear. They don't have to be crystal clear. Another one, even these tiny ones I've used, usually in smaller ephemera holders, but they do work. I'm standing over here because that's where my monitor is. Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, so it's pretty small. And this is a little bit bigger, but again, they do work. And this was a potential size for this middle, but I don't really want to lose any real estate. And I don't care if they've got marks on them. I mean, this is really not a beauty product. As long as it's joyful to look at, it's going to be because of what I've filled in and done on the cover. It's not really going to be the bag. This won't even show, of course. And this I could always cut out if I was the kind of person who felt like that was important. And another one of these, and this is another tall one. But again, you could cut it right here and get a twofer. So you have, this is cut, then that's open because that's closed. This you would close, that's open, and you have another great size bag. So, collect your bags. Hopefully you're going to have some width of this tape. Obviously, the thinner it is, the more strips you're going to have to put on there. Okay, the other thing that really made this pretty and fun was that I filled the holes with ribbon. And so we're going to tear this apart and talk about the ribbons before we stop today. And then you're also going to need some sort of gel medium. You might have Mod Podge, you might have Golden or Liquitex. This is the Tim Holtz that has color. It's kind of a dark color. And so if you did want to age your papers, then I would suggest you use one of the clear ones for the base to put it on in the first place, and then use the brown one to go over it for your final coat. It gives the nicest feel. I do that frequently with things that I open and close and use a lot, and sometimes I just pet it. It just feels so good to use gel medium on the top of a lot of papers that have been collaged together. So hopefully you'll have one of these on hand. They're all, you know, good, so don't worry about that. And I'm really going to put my papers down with the gel medium and not with glue. But, you know, if you want to use glue, use whatever glue you want. Okay, well, I think that's good for the what you need portion. So I am now going to, let me just say, these are all loose in here. So I'm thinking that for this Christmas journal, I might, not sure if I will or I won't, but you might want to, have the elastic on the inside, right? So you do you punch 2 holes here, punch 2 holes here. You run the elastic so it stays inside, doesn't show on the outside, except for a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. And then the papers would go in like this. And when they go in like this, I mean, each one would be folded. I mean, this is a heavy-duty paper. And I actually am making the copies on the Christmas one in a lighter-weight paper. For the collaging, I'm using regular paper. This is really heavyweight. So I guess it depends. If you want to squish them down really hard because you're definitely going to use them in a journal, then squish them down really, it won't be a problem. So it'll be up to you. I mean, it's possible they could lay flat to here, go underneath, and then maybe have a clip. Well, that's still going to bend up. So it's worked for me to have them like this. It hasn't been an issue. I have it sitting on the side of my table here like this. It sits up, sits on this bottom, which has got width, and nothing's ever fallen out. I've had no problem in two or more years. All right, so after this video is over, and find your file folder, and then the next thing you have to do is begin to take off these edges. Some of the older file folders I have, they come up really easily, and other ones have come up very, very difficultly. So, have some kind of a tool or multiple of tools around to sort of help you. So far so good. I'm using my fingernail and the side of my finger. Now if you start to feel like you're not getting all the paper up from the base and you're moving into a sort of a narrower, let's see if I can show it to you. You see how up here there's just this glue area that's coming up, and then you get down here and it's starting to actually pick up more of the file folder. You want to avoid that. That's not a good thing because it's making this less strong. So at that point, I tend to go to the other side and see. Well, see, you can always tell that this is not going to be better. So grab something that isn't going to tear it, like scissors might tear it, and just begin to push it further back so that you can get behind. Oh yeah, this is definitely happening. So I go in then from the top sometimes. Like this one's okay, but here, see how you can see the metal through this hole? I'm going to zoom down for you. Okay, you can see the metal through this hole. Right? This one you can't because it's picking up the file folder. So you've got to go in around the back and try to get to where the file folder isn't, so that you can start to get on top of it and move it down. You got to be careful and gentle. I have not ripped a top piece yet, but there's always a first. And it's possible that the ribbon we're going to weave in could cover up let's see. Usually this is how it is. Like everything goes along pretty good, and then you get to this one spot where for whatever reason they just really dump the glue on. Oh yeah, I'm still not. Let's see. Well, if I pull this up this way, because it's so difficult, then I'm going to have to punch those holes again. in order to weave through it. So I would really prefer to have this work right. So I'm trying to loosen the glue that's glued the base to this top, this far up. It's like the glue got squished in, and it should have not. See, up here it's not, and then suddenly it is. This is kind of a cool tool. It came from a doctor's office, and I think it's a letter opener, but there's a gap between this piece of black and the silver, so I can squish. That said, it's not really changing the fact that this is not coming up. So we have a sunny day today, but we've had two days of rain. Well, one really good day of rain, and then cloudy and wet another day. Oh, it was just fabulous. To hear it, it would fall with force, and we could hear it. Oh my gosh, made me so happy. The mountains got snow. Ski places are thrilled because, you know, Monday's a holiday, I guess, for Veterans Day, and Thanksgiving's coming up, so, you know, they make fake snow in California to make up for the deficit that's been coming around since climate change, and it's really nice when they don't have to. Well, that's hideous. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, I didn't even realize it was happening. Well, good thing I'm collaging over it. Okay, I did not realize it was going through. Well, you know what? It's never happened on a single one I've done. And now I'm showing you, and it happens. And I'm winging it, so there's no way back. Okay, and I have no other red folder, so I am not giving up. Let's see if I can just get this open. I think I'm going to glue that and try to put something on top of it before. Oh, and then that ripped. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Let's try this. Oh, I'm afraid I'm cutting through the... Let's see. Now off the camera, I don't mean to be. Not that this is exciting to watch, but... Okay, let's see. Oh, come on, don't do that. Well, I hope you... Oh, that's a whole hole. It's just glued. There's no way... There's nothing I can do about it. It's just... Look, it's still glued to the bar. Oh, wow. I just haven't run across this before. I think I've mostly used older file folders. This is not that old. Look, it's still stuck to there. Okay, so that may be what you run into too. So just do your best. This is going to be my inside. Okay, so this is going to be on mine. This is going to be the inside, and this I was going to turn over. No. This is the inside, and this will be the outside that I'm collaging. So when this is turned over, nothing shows. That's so good to know. But I'm still going to do my best to fix that hole in a smooth way, but it's not going to show in the end, so we're good. Okay, so I won't put you through watching the next one. I'll do it off camera, but do both sides, and then think about what your ribbon of choice is going to be. Now, I've showed you the beautiful, beautiful papers that we're working with. And for the most part, except for these, which I'm using because I adore them, they're very, to me, Pennsylvania Dutch. They have that whole Pennsylvania, New England thing going on for me. But on the whole, the ones that I chose, and again, there's other papers there, they're beige. They have a beige background. And so red will be my alternate color. And so with that in mind, get a sense, buy the kits. There's 2 right now, but they're also making one for envelopes and seed packets, they said, and one other thing. So have your papers laying here so that you have an idea as to what your collage is going to look like. And then start pulling your ribbons. Now, the first ribbon I pulled, of course, was this one. Can you see this well? Okay, let's get you in good light. Okay, so this was my first choice. And again, it's in and out of these holes. You just weave it. You just cut the end and weave it through. It doesn't take a pin or anything like that. So this repair then has to really leave that open. I mean, you could skip one. It's a junk journal holder. It's not like it has to be perfect. So this color, it doesn't show up a whole lot, but it's the correct color. It's Christmas. And then I found this, which I think is pink, but it looks red. And it's, sorry. I mean, it really does look pink. It's called Red Hot. That's why I bought it. But then when it came to me, it was pink. But now, it could be just enough different that it would be perfect. So, put in the comments which one you like better, because I honestly like them both. Be a lot easier to weave with this. I wove with a green seam binding on my Paris one, and I twisted it and turned it and wrinkled it on purpose, and I like that. And I left the dangle for my delightful Eiffel Tower charm. So, and there's not that many holes. There's a lot of white showing on this file folder. This one, there's a lot more holes. So, looking at the papers and looking at the red, let's see. I think it looks pink again. And this one definitely looks red. So, I'm leaning towards this. That said, I also pulled another one that I've decided against, but this to me reminds me of reindeer tracks, fawn tracks, animal tracks, right? And so if this kit were a woodland kit and it was just filled with the animal ones, that really cute one that I showed you, like this, if it was this kind of a kit, I would be inclined to use this because it looks like little tracks. I just think this is the coolest thing. It's actually black thread sewn on top of a seam binding, really, a heavy-duty seam binding. It's a beautiful ribbon, but I don't find that many uses for it. But I don't think it really goes with the Christmas thing, so I'm not going to do it. So there you go. So that's what you want to do. And then one last thing before I bid you farewell for now is that this center, this was a used file folder. I saved my file folders, and it needs reinforcement. So this is the center, and I'm going to put this down the center after I collage, so it'll be next time. after we collage. It'll be down the road, but think about what you might want to use. And then this is going to go, well, this is the outside. So this is going to go down on top of the collage after the collage is done. So I don't have to worry about the edges. Like I can just bring them in this area knowing that this will be over it. And it's flexible. It's a burlap. It's a fine burlap. I bought it on a roll, just like this. Could have been from, you know, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, but I'm thinking Hobby Lobby as I say that. But I think I've had it a really, really long time, so who knows. And this will be the outside. No, I can't keep it straight. This is going to be the inside. And this is going to be the outside. So I'm going to put it on the outside of also the outside. All right? Oh, my God. If I say it one more time wrong, I am collaging the pink, which is going to be the outside, so that I will have red inside and I won't be gluing on something that's glued down and then might conceivably come apart. So I'm going to be putting the tape right on here. And this will be here. And the bags can go on top of it. It's just going to be for strength, and it's irrelevant, really, that it shows. But I like the burlap for the Christmas feel. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer you. And I hope that you will craft along with me. And also I have a discount code for you from Chapter 1 Papers for their shop. It runs for a month starting today, and it's not limited to just their new Christmas kit. They have older Christmas kits that are stunning as well, and but it applies to anything that you buy in their shop. They'll probably come out with Christmas washi, knowing them. Maybe that was it. Envelopes and washi, or seed packets and washi. The code is J, capital letters, JBNOV22. I'll put it in the description box also. But just use it. 20%. That's a good savings, and their kits are not priced that high to begin with. But it's a beautiful kit, and it prints out really well. So have fun, and I will see you in the next day or two. That's my plan, to get this all to you. There might be a third part, but to get it all done before Sunday is my plan, because then I don't have time after that. All right? So you take care, stay well, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Oh, and thank you to all my new subscribers. Wow, it's been really just amazing. You guys are something else. So thanks.